All right. I want to welcome you back to WAP, Wealth, Assets, and Prosperity, that is, for your life and your business. I am so excited because y'all know we have been coming with the heat. Dr. Dan was last week, he was absolutely phenomenal. This week, today, I am so excited to introduce you to somebody who is going to literally blow your wigs off. Yes, I said your wigs off because she is that phenomenal. I am so excited to introduce you guys to Dr. Sade Adu. She is an award winning digital brand strategist, best selling author, and an international speaker, y'all, with a passion for people and a love for helping others succeed in life. She is driven by her desire to support women entrepreneurs and facilitate the creation of generational wealth. Yas. Sade is truly committed to offering a comprehensive range of services, which is oriented towards achieving the three I's. And I got to tell y'all, I'm really excited about these three I's. I would let y'all know what it is, but I'm going to let her explain it to you. Whether working with a company or brand, she will stop at nothing short of ensuring desired outcomes. Dr. Sade, she has the pleasure of being featured on Hello Beautiful, Black Enterprise, the Network Journal, and the Rachel Ray Show. Okay, come on, Queen. She has also spoken at and facilitated numerous workshops in Kazakhstan and Ghana, as well as in universities, high schools, and institutions throughout the United States. In addition to being a full time entrepreneur, Dr. Sade received her PhD, baby, in curriculum and instruction from the University of Wisconsin Madison. She attributes her success to great mentoring and spiritual favor, paying it forward with the goal of inspiring positive change in the world around her. Let's welcome Dr. Sade. Woo! I
Thank
am
you
so
so much for having me today.
I'm just elated to have you here. You help female entrepreneurs, and that is a true passion for me. How did you get started in this, Queen?
So, over 9 years ago, we just celebrated 9 years in business. I was living in the Republic of Kazakhstan. I know there's like, what, when, where? That's a story for another day. And I decided to take a leap of faith to leave my international teaching job. I was teaching overseas to start my business online. And a month before I resigned from my job, I actually resigned like yesterday, 9 years ago, as we're recording
Woo!
this. I decided to start my business online. And ultimately, I just wanted to inspire and help people. People were watching my journey on Facebook as I was living overseas for 3 years. And they just kept asking me, how did you do it? Why did you do it? And they were just inspired by this journey that I was taking in my early to mid 20s. And I realized that there was more for me to do. And I wanted to support and help people. So that's where this company started. I just wanted to help people.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, you got to learn how to help people, but also get paid to help people. That was the journey that I embarked on next, figuring out how I could be of service and support, but also monetize my genius so that I could continue to help and support people.
Isn't that the truth? We start businesses out of this service. I want to just help people. I do it for free, girl. I do it in my sleep, baby. Like we just be starting stuff. And really, at the end of the day, you have to learn how to get paid for your services. When did that switch happen for you? When did you say, you know what? Why am I doing this? Like, were you giving a lot of services away for free? Because I know I was. So when did the switch happen for you?
The switch happened when I stopped getting a check. I said, wait a minute now. This oil money check is not coming in anymore. What happened? Oh, I'm not on payroll. Like, I gotta make money for me and I gotta pay my bills.
Yes.
OMG. That was a reality check
Wow.
when my funds from my job stopped coming in and I still had to survive.
Mm.
I had invested my savings to start my business. And also part of that time when I started my business, 2 months later, I started my PhD program. So I had an
Mhm.
international relocation, and then I had a regional relocation from New Jersey to Wisconsin to start school. And I forgot that you need money to get an apartment and you got to buy things to live. I totally forgot these things, and that requires money. So that was my reality check
Yeah.
that I need to do things differently. And then if I desired to remain in business, I was going to have to make money. And I was also stressed out as a full-time doctoral student. So I remember looking at the job placements on campus like, oh, we got to do something because this is expensive. I thought, going into business, I thought you needed some pins that had your logo on it, a website, and a tote bag. And I thought that was business. Man, I was wrong. So, learn from my mistakes.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And there's so much truth to that because we don't know when you're starting your business, you're like you said, I just need some business cards. Let me just get this website started without even realizing there's so much more to it. So I love what you do. Let's talk about this generational wealth. How do you help your female entrepreneurs get to the generational wealth? Because I talk about curing the generational wealth curses. And so that's my question. Like, how are you helping them get to the generational wealth? And
As
what is generational wealth?
as we go into year 9 and we're going into 10 years in business, it's evolving for me. I have a new definition. So I'm no longer looking for generational wealth, because what I realized was generational wealth just means the passing down to generations of money, financial means. And as Black people, what I realized was from the research, we still lose our wealth within a generation or
Mm,
two. So if we acquire wealth, it's going to be gone before it gets to our grandchildren. And
mm,
then I realized that that was not okay. And then
mhm.
I learned a new word called dynastic wealth. And when I was looking up dynastic wealth, it is the combination of generational wealth, but it also is the combination of information and education. So what I realized was I'm actually on a mission to help people create dynastic wealth.
Ooh,
When we pass down wealth, we also have to pass down education and financial responsibility. It is not enough to just leave an inheritance. We have to leave information with that inheritance so that it does not deplete and disappear in 1 to 2 generations. So
come
what that's the new revelation. Listen, it's not year one. This is we got some new things, new downloads that are happening. And I realized that, and I said I have a bigger mission in this next season of my life, because we've seen it. We've seen
yeah.
people we've seen the drastic measures of this. The GoFundMe's where there's not enough to cover funeral costs and things like that. Then we've seen, even in my own family, we've seen people receive funds and inheritance and squander it. So I said, there has to be something. We're missing a piece. It's the educational, the financial astuteness and fortitude that we also need to pass down in lineages in
Mhm.
order to make sure that we can not only just survive, but thrive. So that is the core of who I am and what I believe. Now, my vehicle of choice is to leverage the online internet space. And I just had a kind of a conversation with some family last night about this. And my cousins and I were going on a trip. And part of that trip, we're going to be talking about this, having this conversation. And it's not enough for one person to know it. Like, I'm one of these things that I'm over is we're going to demystify this rich uncle and rich aunt. Everyone seems to have like one rich aunt, one rich uncle, the person that they go to when they need a little something. That responsible person, they've done all the things right, and they have disposable income. They have the wealth in the family, whether they're wealthy or not. They are the rich uncle or aunt. And I said, what if we turn that concept upside down and decide that we all gonna be rich aunts and uncles? Because I can't just have one. It can't just be me.
No.
If I'm in a bind, or if we want to buy something, I need to be able to call my cousins. I need to be able to call a sibling. I need to be able to call multiple people. We
Yes.
need a lineage of wealth, and
Yes.
we don't just need pockets of wealth because of the statistics and the data. They talk specifically about Black people and Black families. We need rivers and streams of wealth across our bloodlines. So it requires us to have higher level conversations. And I
love
understand, even for me, I'm not even at the level I need to be to even understand what I want to do. But
Yes.
because I'm cognizant of, like, this is where we need to go. These are some of the conversations we're going to be having. We're planting the seeds, because if we can plant these seeds now, and the 5-year-olds in our family have a different understanding of money, when they become 55, this won't even be a conversation. It's going to be normal for them. So
Yes.
that's the mission, like the ultimate goal and mission that I'm on for my family and for other people. The vehicle that we use is social media marketing, digital courses, and coaching programs, because we can leverage the money that we make online to
Yes.
buy real estate, to invest in insurance and properties and the other harder assets where traditionally wealth was accumulated. People
Yes.
made money in the stocks. People made money in real estate. People made money in in traditional senses. But we are in the digital age where there's opportunities where people are literally becoming millionaires in
Yep.
3 years because they went viral on TikTok,
Yep.
or they developed a software. So the way that wealth is accumulated, if we look at the newest generation of multimillionaires, high net worth people, and billionaires, the way that they accumulated wealth was not in the traditional sense. So we got to be cognizant of what's happening in this season. So, that PhD, I think about research. I have a degree in history. I'm always thinking about, what can we learn from the past? So we
Mhm.
have to look at the trends and what's working now to accumulate wealth today, and
Yes.
leverage that to grow for the future. But we got to do what's working now. And right now, the internet works. There's opportunity for you to grow your business, build a side hustle, build a brand, and people want to hear from different types of people. So this is the season we're in.
I am obsessed with everything you just said. And it's so funny to me because yesterday, was literally having a conversation with one of my son's friends. And, they're on their way out of high school, on their way to college, if they want to go to college. And one of them was saying that, hey, I have these ideas. I want to get into real estate. I want to get into digital marketing. Like, this was a statement she was making. And she was like, what can I do? And I started giving her, she was like, doesn't it take money to make money? I said, no, girl, you can do this. You can go online. You can just start promoting, your services. Just see what you can do, how you can help people. You can even say, I help basketball players and I coach them, little girls to get their jump shot tight. Go online. Like you said, it's a digital age. The conversation her and I had was life changing. And she was like, I don't get to have these conversations with my mom.
Mm.
And it hit me. It was like, we have to start bringing these conversations more to the kids, because they're the ones that, like you said, the generational wealth, it stops if they don't know how to use the money. They go out there and buy themselves a big boat, just be trying to be flossing on their friends. And now all their little generational wealth is gone. So, whoa, powerful. So you help people make digital products and courses?
Yes.
So
So
tell me more about that.
part of my background of what I was doing overseas was developing curriculum for the districts in Kazakhstan. And I was doing that also in America as well. And what I realized yesterday, I've been developing curriculum and programming since I was about 16 years old, when I was developing programming for an art appreciation summer camp. I basically was the counselor, and I developed the trainings and the programs for the students.
Yes.
So this is just something I've been doing for a very long time. And what I realized, and what I want a lot of you guys to tap into, is the skills that you've learned from your career, from your education, from your life experience. These skills are transferable. And we just have to figure out, and monetizable. So we have to figure out which skills pay the bills. Which skills are people willing to pay you for right now? Because everything you know how to do, people don't want to pay for.
Yeah.
But we want to identify and elevate the things that people actually want to pay you for right now, so that you can amplify them and monetize them faster. So
Yes.
sometimes for some of you, like, I took a training with Cornell University. 43% of funded businesses, these are businesses that receive capital,
Yeah.
venture capital, fail because they fail to solve a marketplace need. And because I serve Black people, I don't have time. We don't have time to not serve, to fail to solve our marketplace need.
Right.
We have to go into business understanding and identifying problems that we know how to solve and problems that are monetizable. Because if
Yes.
we solve problems that people want to pay us for, we will stay in business much longer than we anticipate.
I
We'll
know.
be able to stay in business. It's about our livelihood and longevity.
I know that's right. How do people know that they're solving a problem? Because a lot of people start businesses just being like, well, I love doing this. I just want to,
It's my
do
passion.
what I love. It's my passion. How do they know they're solving a problem?
People usually around you will identify the problems that you know how to solve.
Come on, Queen.
Certain offers that I have, I remember I started my business because I just wanted to help people. I wanted to help them live a great life. When I was doing that, I started off as a life coach. I am still a certified life coach. And one of the things I was just doing like general life coaching for women. I thought it was specifically for millennials, but it became more for women. And one of the things that they kept saying to me was, how did you build this brand?
Mm,
Because I built my website. I knew how to just put stuff together.
yes.
And they just kept asking me. So even when I was tinkering with Canva and
Yeah.
making my own logos and doing all these things, people were identifying skills in me that
Yes.
I was like diminishing. I wasn't paying
Mm,
attention. It was just normal. And they said, how did you build this brand? How did you build this brand? How did you build this brand? And then this random man called me one day and said, you know how to build brands. But I was just like, they keep telling me this. I don't know why they keep saying this thing, but maybe I should listen. And it really happened because like doing all the things for free or $80. And
yes.
one former client, we were at an event together, and she literally said, what is your PayPal account? I am going to pay you. You're going to accept payment for this,
Mm,
and you are going to coach me because you know you're going to help me build my brand. And I
yes.
was, and at the time it was so funny. Someone else was there. We were in a mutual pro training, a mastermind, and I was like, well, this person does that, and she's amazing. She does
Yeah.
this. She's been able to do that. And she was like, no, I want to work with you. I know that person. She's cool, but I want you. So you're going to accept this payment and you're going to coach me.
Come on, Queen.
And she just told me what I was going to do. And I'm so grateful for her today. Shout
Right.
out to Christina Dukes for,
Okay.
shouting me for, calling me out in Atlanta, Georgia years ago and forcing me to accept my greatness. And we were able to do some phenomenal things. She didn't even have a website at the time. She had a YouTube channel and she was gaining some traction, but we were able to create her digital products. And
Yeah.
then with about 6 months of working together, she had a $50,000 month from someone who I didn't want to work with. She had to force to pay me. She had to bribe me to work with her. And she has digital products and services and programs. And she's able to coach people from around the world.
Ah,
And it started because she identified something in me that I was trying to ignore.
mm,
So I really want you to be, if you're in a season of like, I'm looking for my next, there's a calling on my life,
mhm.
I'm supposed to be doing something and you're not doing it right now. I want you to identify what other people are saying about you. Another thing I do is called the ring test. You pick
Yeah.
up the phone. If you are the family problem solver,
Ooh.
right? And they say, there's usually the conversation starts with, girl, I need help, right? Everybody, if you're the problem solver, usually something like that, some kind of rendition. Somebody's calling you and it is a state of emergency.
Yes.
They're asking you to solve a problem. And you say, okay, you
Mm.
listen and you're like, do this, don't do this, don't go to that place, call this person, let me make a phone call.
Yes.
You know exactly how to solve their problem. You probably have a skill that's monetizable. Everyone else around you sees it, but you, because it's so close to you. It's so close to us, we can't see it. So a
Yeah.
lot of times we need other people to identify the gifts that we naturally have. And a lot of times when they're natural, we ignore them or we don't think they're monetizable.
We don't
We're
think
like,
they're a
oh,
big deal.
I do.
Yes.
That's just a thing that I do. I just know how to do it. So,
Right?
like, even today, someone was like, how do you know how to do this? Did you just, I said, literally, it just happened. I was like, I just one day got an opportunity and I just kept learning and it was fun
Yes.
to me. So I just kept doing it. And this is a skill that I've had for a long time. And now it's becoming more of a monetizable skill because more people are identifying that this is a skill set that I have. So you really got to be okay with who you are. So the
Yes.
best thing that I can tell you to do is go on a self-discovery journey of identifying who you are.
Come
And then
on.
identify those things that people say about you because
Right.
they do. They will come to you and ask you questions. They will identify that you have a skill set that sometimes we take for granted.
We
We don't
take for
recognize.
granted. Because we think everybody got it. It's
Yep.
just so funny that you say that. Like, that's how I even wrote my first book. It was everyone would come to me, Jackie, you're so positive. How are you so positive? I was like, let me just write this in a book. I'm tired of telling everybody why I'm so positive. I'm gonna put it in a book. And that's what I did. And it's just so funny because we all have special talents. We all have something that we are, like you said, that call. You know, you guys got that the family members that always call you. I'm also the relationship person. Girl, can I just talk to you about this?
Yep.
Yeah, girl, let's go. Let's talk
Monetizable
about it.
skill. Yep.
Yes. And so I love that was so good. That was so good, Sade. And so people really can make buco buckos off of these digital courses and digital products, right? And so my question to you is, as they're sitting here doing this, as they're sitting here creating, because some people are here just creating willy nilly and ain't and getting crickets, or they're going to Kajabi and pricing is it Kajabi? What's the one where you could price your course real low? My soon somebody
Udemy.
was telling me yes, Udemy. And they'll go there and they'll price their course for like $25 because the rest of the market is doing that. What can you say about pricing? Like, how do people get themselves to price themselves at the level that they're worthy of getting the dollars rather than I'm just gonna do it for $25 because I see this other life coach and they got their course for $25, and so we just go rock it that way.
So specifically for Udemy, with everything there's a strategy. With Udemy, there is a strategy.
Okay,
I
come on.
would never put my signature course on Udemy. And I've talked about this for years and I haven't fully done it, but I've heard people who are on Udemy and we've talked about strategy before. There is a strategy. Udemy is a marketplace and they
Mhm.
do the marketing for you. So they bring people to your courses and your trainings. So if it the so the problem is on the con side is they gonna charge $20, $25, $19. If I want to learn a skill set and I don't really want to invest a lot of money into the skill set, but I just want to kind of browse it,
Yeah.
I will buy a course on Udemy and I
Mhm.
will binge watch it and I'll just learn some additional skills because sometimes I just want to learn like one little thing and they may have it on Udemy and I'll buy the course. The goal of Udemy is volume.
Mhm.
So it's not about making a lot of money selling higher ticket. It really is a volume based game because if Udemy promotes your course, they get a percentage and you get a percentage. So you don't want to put your highest level services and products on there, but look at Udemy, I would say, as a lead magnet. It is
Mm,
an
there we go.
opportunity to get people to know you, know that you exist when they never would have known you existed if you were just depending on your own marketing efforts. So
Mhm.
that's the benefit and value of it. But you don't get to keep the list. You can
Right.
email them once a month. There are some parameters with Udemy, but it can be a low cost way for you to generate leads for your digital programs, products, and services because the people on Udemy pay for courses, they watch online courses.
Right.
Other piece is using your own platform where you have control. You can determine the price, you determine whether or not there's going to be a discount. But on this end, you are responsible for the marketing efforts. You don't
Yes.
have a marketplace to look, to back you. You can charge more, you can make more with less people, but
Mhm.
you are responsible for the marketing. So both have value.
Right. I
Depends
love
on what you want to do. But if you have a course that you want to sell for $5,000 or $10,000, absolutely not. Don't put it on Udemy.
right.
Because
There we
Udemy
go.
will have a 4th of July flash sale, and that thing will be $10.99. You don't want to do that. But if you want to leverage it as a lead magnet
Mm.
and allow people to enroll in your course in your products, some of those people may come off of the Udemy platform and connect with you in other places. There are ways to, seed people off the platform where they can connect with you, where you can offer them higher ticket products and services. But ultimately, it depends on what your strategy is. If you're just getting started, it is easier. I know
It,
it doesn't sound like it, to charge more. And then that can subsidize you having smaller prices. Now, if you have a large audience, some of you have accumulated an audience and a fan base, and they're just waiting for you to sell something to them, then it may be a great idea to sell something smaller,
yeah.
or you can do both. And so I definitely believe in having a mix of both if it makes sense for your business model. But
Mhm.
charging $25 and you only got 10 people, it's going to be hard to, sustain that. But if you charge 2,500 or $5,000 and you got 10 or 20 people, then we really got something going on,
I'm
right?
going out.
Same
Yes.
amount of people, but we increase the price. And now we actually can hire people. We can outsource. We can invest in automation and delegation. We can actually run a business when we make more money.
Come on. Come through. I love that. Yes, queen. And so my next question, because this all of a sudden they're just brewing in my little brain right now. You said 9 years in this game.
Mhm.
9 years. And so we know with everything that transitions, especially in these digital ages, right? What have you seen? What has been the biggest thing you've seen as transitioning? Because I know people are always saying some courses are dead, evergreen is dead. Like everyone's always saying something, but yet there's a lot of people out here making a lot of money off this stuff. So what have you seen? What have been some big changes you've seen that have been either really, really good for the industry, or you're like, man, this is going to be here forever?
So this is what I'll say. Marketers are going to market. They're going to say everything's dead, everything is this. Marketers' job is to sell some doom and gloom sometimes. That's
Yes.
the first thing. Um, the marketplace will shift. I kind of started out with live video on Periscope.
Mm.
Periscope is owned by Twitter. It no longer exists. There's
Oh,
platforms, social media platforms that I loved that no longer exist. So that's one of the things I had to realize about this marketplace, that when we have an opportunity, we have to take full advantage of it.
yeah.
So if you were one of the first people to use Facebook ads or have a Facebook business page, you would have millions of followers now if you just were one of the first people. You would have one of the first people to tweet, one of the first early YouTubers.
Hmm.
Being an early adopter on a platform, you have massive opportunity and advantage. Right now, there's a platform that just came out called Spill. I know
Hmm.
people have their opinions, just like they had about Periscope. Oh, it's not going to be here. Clubhouse. If being an early adopter, I take this out of Gary V's playbook. You at least want to own your name on on an emerging platform, whether or not the platform survives or dies. At least you own your digital real estate. So even if you have no intentions of being on that platform, let's say it just blows up. You want to at least have your name on that platform so that no one can impersonate you. So that's the first part. So that's the thing. We're seeing emerging platforms. They are birthed, they die, but the tried and trues are still here. Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's tried and true.
Yeah.
The other piece now we're seeing right now, live video was powerful. Then we saw short form video. Now we're seeing the explosion of artificial intelligence. AI
Oh, girl.
is the next wave. First, they were on VR, virtual reality, augmented reality. They were talking about the NFTs and all those kinds of things. I really wasn't into that, but I was paying attention just in case we go to virtual reality. Um, but really, right now, artificial intelligence, the use of robots, we already had projections that I think it was about like 2025, how many jobs were going to be lost to robots.
Mm.
With artificial intelligence, we are already seeing that white collar jobs are being cut because they're just going to use robots. We're already seeing in the fast food industry, we are basically ordering our own food because the people are not waiting on us. We're already seeing it in
Yep.
not the convenience stores, but the big top box department stores. We
Hmm.
are having self checkout. So we're already seeing, and there's already machines that make pizzas and ice creams and cupcakes at our disposal. So we are already seeing the beginning of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And just like the movie Hidden Figures, they had to teach themselves computers because they saw the writing on the wall.
Mm.
They were positioning themselves to become obsolete. So
Yeah.
If you don't want to become obsolete in a marketplace, you have to have, you got to stay up to date with what trends and things are happening. So you got to stay, you got to keep, I say, you got to keep your ears, eyes and ears to the streets and be willing to pivot when it makes the most sense. Because what we're doing today does not mean it's going to work 2 years from now.
No.
What we're doing right now might not work 6 months from now. We learned that lesson with COVID. So we have to be aware of when the market is shifting. So with artificial intelligence, right now it's still in its infancy. We need to leverage it. We need to use it. We need to understand it better because it's not that the robots will take over everything in human
No.
life. It's the
No.
people who know how to master the robots that will.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to be aware of that. That's like the biggest shift I'm seeing in the marketplace, even with me needing certain team. I'm like, okay, this robot can do it. This app can do what I used to pay somebody to do. Oh, we are cutting costs. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it, understand your target market is doing the same exact thing. They are cutting costs. And I'm seeing certain industries being shifted already because of that. So we got to
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to the trends and be willing to pivot. So
Yes.
for me, I'm committed, like I said, to dynastic wealth. We're committed to building generational wealth. I'm not necessarily committed to how I get there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes. I'm
talk-
not committed to how.
the how I'm not attached. I'm not married to the how. Like
Yes.
if I get an inheritance and win the lottery tomorrow and I win $10 million, I got $10 million. It would be nice. I'm not planning to pay the lottery tomorrow, but if that's how I got it, I'm not committed to the how. I'm committed to it's going to happen. It's
Mhm.
inevitable. It oozes around me. There's no other option. But how we get there, I'm not committed to the how. So because I'm not, so many people are like, I see it in movies all the time, especially like on Hallmark. These mom and pop shops, they're like the business is literally dying and they don't want to change. And I'm like, listen, we got to be flexible. We got to be fluid. We got to know when to move into a new marketplace. We got to know where the next gold rush is going to be. Because part of being a Black business owner is survival. We got to survive to see another
Yeah.
day. We can't
Yeah.
afford not to not be here because our communities literally depend on us being here. So,
Yes.
because I understand that, I'm like, okay, if this is how if this was what was working for me last year and it's no longer serving me, it's no longer working, people are not interested. Okay, what are they interested in now that I can provide? I got skills, I got talents. So when you're skillful, when you're smart and talented, you always have an opportunity to bounce back as
Come
long as you don't give up.
Yes, as long as you don't give up. Looky here, y'all. We are over here in Brownstone Worldwide Media, KCCR Radio with Dr. Sade. And as she said, digital real estate, y'all be sure to follow her on all social media platforms at Hey Dr. Sade, because I swear, let me tell y'all something. Let me just tell y'all something. Dr. Sade is literally always on my page. Like I'll be scrolling and her ad will pop up, her post will pop up. I mean, it is the beauty of seeing you. You have motivated me in so many different ways without even knowing that you're motivating
Thank
me.
you.
And I just got to tell you, Queen, you're doing phenomenal. So can you speak to consistency a little bit? Because I love how you're saying the how don't matter. The how does not matter. But what does matter is consistently showing up and pivoting in the show up. So how has consistency helped you with your business?
So it didn't really click to me until earlier this year
Mm.
that I had been around for a while. I said, "Oh my goodness, like I actually have been doing this for a while." And I just had to accept it. I spent most of my business feeling like an amateur, feeling like I wasn't good enough, feeling like, "Oh my goodness, I need an MBA. Like how am I teaching people business?" I just was like not confident and I had a lot of self-doubt. I did not believe in the results that I was producing. I was like, this is a fluke. Like the Christina Dukes, that's a fluke. Like there's no way that we were able to do that.
Yeah.
And at some point, I had to believe in the real evidence. We say fear is false evidence, but I had real evidence. It was real. The clients were telling me that this is the impact that I had on their lives. People were coming up to me at various events, sending me messages about this is the impact you're having. And I would just say thank you and not internalize it
Mm.
until I had to sit down earlier this year. Listen, I'll say another one. Therapy changes things. Because
Mm.
we tell ourselves lies. And I had to tell myself, actually look at the proof in the truth of the matter. And when I looked at the truth, I said, man, I am thebomb.com. I got some
Oh.
value out here in this marketplace. So start acting like it. But even in the midst of my own insecurities, I still was showing up
Mm.
because my why is bigger than me. So even when I didn't feel the best, even when I was sad, even when I was depressed, I still was going to show up. So that's the difference. And part of it is also, let me be 100% honest. I can be functionally depressed because
Mm.
I'm like, I don't care if I'm sad. I got goals. I got bills. I have responsibilities. The backs of generations are on me. So I'm going to show up regardless.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling everybody that that's the best thing to do. I'm just telling you about my truth, right? So that's just I guess the grit in me and even in our people. Even when we're not 100%, if a child needs something, a
We
spouse
show.
needs something, we still show up.
We
Whether
show.
that's right or wrong, that's just who we are as a people.
Yes.
I use that fuel to leverage who I am. So, and then part of it is when I'm not able to show up, because sometimes the oxygen is literally just taken from you.
Yes.
It's grief from a loss of a family member. COVID was a mental health crisis for the entire world.
Yes.
Sometimes we have to take time for ourselves. So when we do those things, it's important that there's automation, that
Yeah.
there's delegation. And a lot of the content that you create, I'm going back to some of this old content and I'm like, man, it was good stuff. And
Yeah.
we're remixing it and reusing it. Because a lot of the people that know you now did not know you 6 months ago. They didn't know you 2 years ago. They didn't know you 10 years ago. So the stuff that you talked about in the past, reuse it. So one of my consistency tips I would say is create content for a good 6 months to 12 months, whatever your content cycle is, and whatever your content consistency flow is, whether it's once a week, twice a week, whatever the flow is. Get committed to, I'm going to create great content for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it. I'm going to be committed. After that 6 to 12 month mark, you're going to go back to the content that you already created and you're going to post it again.
Come on.
The people who've already seen it will get new additional insight. I cannot tell you how many times I will go back to the same thing. How many times have you gone back to the same book or watch the same movie and you have new insight?
New insight. See something you didn't see before.
You're like, wait a minute. I didn't see that. This was here. When did this appear? I didn't know that was even a thing. Have you watched a movie before and then you find a new actress or actor and you realize that they were in that movie and you didn't even know they was in the movie? We have a new insight. We come to the same situation with a new lens. So post that content again. And then the people who've never seen it will be like, oh, this was amazing. This is something new. I didn't even know about this.
Right.
So you have 6 to 12 months worth of great, juicy, amazing content.
Come on.
And then you can add more content to it. But repurpose the stuff that you've already done, because 9 out of 10 times, most of your folks didn't even see it the first time. They didn't see it the second time. They didn't even see it the 10th time.
That's right.
So be okay with posting things over and over and be okay with being repetitive. We think that we're like we're not being of value, but people need to hear what we're saying over and over and over again in order for them to receive the message. That's another thing that's shifting the marketplace. When we first were doing Facebook ads, when we first started doing webinars, when people first started doing challenges, everybody was like, oh, this is amazing. I love it. But after the 50th, 100th, 11th post in Facebook ad, your audience becomes more desensitized to the marketing that you're doing. So now you have to do more touch points. Before 7 touch points were enough, we're looking at 11 to 50 touch points. So if you think posting a flyer one time is going to cut it,
come on,
in this marketplace, I just told you this is the lay of the land. You think posting it one time, 2 times, and you're like boo-hoo crying because nobody knew about your thing?
Say something, girl.
Guess what? You got to post it some more. So for me, I am unattached to stuff. I get mad. I'm like, yeah, I'm mad. Why they not paying attention? But what I understand is I'm flexing that consistency muscle. And whether I realize it or not, people are watching. And
Yes.
when it's the right time for them to make the investment, they will make the investment. And then part of it is I still have to be in business long enough for them to make the investment. That's the other piece of this. I got to still be here because by
Yes.
the time they're ready to do it, it could be 5 years from now. But if I don't exist, I won't get paid. So that's part of it. There are people who are watching you today. They're not liking nothing. They're not sharing your post. They're not even letting you know that they pay attention. But when it's the right offer at the right time for them, you still being here will allow them to invest with you. And they're going to come back and tell you, I watched you, I saw you, and you got to still be here. So that's why we got to be willing. Like, I'm not attached to the vehicle of how I accumulate wealth. I just know it's inevitable and it's going to happen.
Girl, you made me want to throw my shoe at you. Just throw it at you. I told y'all she was gonna have your wigs on the floor. So okay, wait a minute, because this is good. This is a good conversation because in WAP we're talking about wealth, assets, and prosperity. And when it comes to your wealth, when it comes to your wealth, when it comes to just your prosperity, I love how you're just so chill about it. You know it's coming.
It's coming.
You know it's coming, and that is key for me. If I can let other people realize, just know it's coming. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. And what you said about therapy, it was so funny. Y'all have to know, I just saw Dr. Sade recently, right? And I was like, girl, you are looking good. What are you doing? And what she said next had me on the flow. Like, I know that's right. Because it's more than just, oh, I was exercising, losing weight. No, she said she was on a journey, honey, mind, body, and soul. And it has changed her whole body. I was complimenting her on her weight loss. She's like, girl, it ain't just that. I
It's
got my mind together, my soul together, and my body together. Okay.
it's a whole process. And I'm still on that journey. I learned new things about me. I was like, I need to have another therapy appointment. Because sometimes you revert back to that girl from Jersey. I'd be like, okay, we gotta.
Girl.
Who do I want to be today? Do I want to be Dr. Rich or do I want to be Sade from Jersey? And sometimes Sade from Jersey comes out. For me, that I will say that because this is the reality is I go back to the data. Why do we are in a mental health crisis? We have COVID
And so
messed
what's
us
up?
all up.
So what's up? Yeah.
We lost a sense of connection and community. And these are some things like I was talking to at TSP Live where we were. I was talking to a teenager and she was telling me just about her high school experience through COVID and some of the things that she lost and the connection that she didn't feel in
Yes.
school because of COVID. So that's one thing. Then I also was doing two difficult things at the same time that cause people mental health challenges. Working on a PhD where there's only a 1% to 2% success rate, where most people never finish. Being in graduate school at the PhD, the doctoral, the professional level causes mental health challenges. Like the data is there. You're more likely to be depressed in school. We have support groups and we have communities where we talk about these problems and challenges. And when anybody tells me they're in a doctoral program, I'm always trying to be like, okay, first you got to get out because that place is like the sunken place. And we got to get you out of the sunken place, but we got to be efficient. And I want you to know, like I tell them, you will finish. If you desire to finish, you will finish. Let's create systems and strategies so that you can finish because it was community and tribe that came around me to help me finish. One person was like, listen, I've been telling you need help for the last 2 years. You've been ignoring me. He was like, we gonna meet every night or every week. We met like 2 to 3 hours and you're going to show me these papers, your chapters, and you're going to get out of school because I'm tired of you telling me you don't need no help. And then at some point I was just like, I got to listen. He had already gone through my program. He got his PhD and I was like, okay, I'm going to listen. You're going to help me. Okay. So we were meet at night and he would help. And then I also had tutors and other people, but having that accountability was so important.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of entrepreneurship, we go through ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're celebrating a 6-figure launch. And then the next day, life is lifing. Family members are going crazy and your love life, all kinds of stuff is happening. You're like, oh,
come on, sis. Talk about it.
Because of that, therapy was important. Also, I am, and I'm pretty, I think I'm honest about this in this part. I turned 35 in a couple, well, next week as we're recording this. I'm
Birthday.
35. I'm a different person than when I started this business like 30 at 25 going into 26. The things that I desire are different. I want to have a family. I want to get married. So I needed to create space for that. I needed to heal who I was so I could be, and I had to release who I was, the
Mm,
insecurities, the lack of confidence. I need to become somebody new.
yes.
That was a physical release with my body. And then part of that was mental releases because a lot of it
Mhm,
was in my head and I had to let that
mhm.
go. So therapy was a crucial part of that. And then also I have like a gangster accountant. And she said, if you don't go to therapy, I'm not going to be your accountant no more. Because when I'm sad and when I'm not feeling good, it messes with
Yeah,
my money. And we try
yeah.
to do generational wealth. I can't mess with my money. So if that's the case, we got to do something to fix it. The fastest way to get me to act right is to say, oh, it's going to mess with your money.
Ooh,
You got to get out of school, Sade, because if you keep staying in school, it's going to mess with your money. If you don't go to therapy, you don't work on yourself and start working out, it's going to mess with your money. That's the
okay.
fastest way to get me to focus. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay. You got to go. Okay. It's going to mess. Okay.
It's like, let me get it together. I
You
love it.
together. So it was a wake up call, and it was a blessing for me to just do more self reflection, so that
Yes.
I can be the best version of me. Because if I'm best, I can be best for my clients. I can be the best for my family, for myself, anybody, a significant other. I just want to be the best version of me,
Oh,
and working on those areas of life. Like I said, it's inevitable. Like I have no other choice but for things to happen. And for me, I'm a manifester. So I have
mm,
to be cognizant of what I say to myself in my head and what
yes.
I say out of my mouth. Because
Mm,
the things that I say in my head and out of my mouth happen. They come to fruition. It
yes,
happens multiple times. It happened last night. I
yeah.
was taking one of those quizzes online, and I literally said what the answer was going to be before I pressed the button. I knew, like, it was one of those, those little quizzes, you're gonna have money, you're gonna have this, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, press the button, and the words that I said in my head happened. Um, I remember going to an event and I said, I want a free office space. Somebody's going to give me a free office space. I was at the event. A woman, a white woman at this walked up to me, and I told her what I did. And she said, do you want a free office space? And I said, yes. There have been times I've been in line for the airplane, and I said, I'm going to fly first class. And somebody turned around and gave me their first class ticket. I've had this happen multiple times.
Why are you so cool? I love this.
And at some point you got to believe what's happening. Like, I will say, think of a song, and the song will begin to play. It happened one time at TSP, and
Yeah.
this song was not a song that should have been playing at that moment. It had nothing to do with what was happening. And I said, this song is going to play.
Oh,
And it played. And it was just a reminder of what my mind and what my body, my soul, when it's in alignment, what will happen. And I have to be aware of that.
uh,
So it woo, I don't know this conversation is gonna go here, but that's just where
man.
years in, this is where I am post COVID. I'm being aware of that, and I'm not attached to how we're gonna get there. Multi-millions is where I'm supposed to be, and I, God is telling me new things, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
instead of resisting it because that didn't work,
Nope.
let me just accept it. If this next mission, and I've heard for year 10, you're gonna make millions, but you're also supposed to help other people make millions.
Come
And when
on.
I heard it, I was like, I haven't made millions with the nest yet. Like, we got to make it faster. And I
Yeah.
said, okay, if that's the mission of the next decade of my business and of my life, I'm just going to accept it. I'm okay with it. We'll go whatever that means. Okay. That's what we're supposed to do. So that's
Obsessed.
that's the new iteration of this journey, is
Yeah.
being okay with who I am as a person, what I bring to the table. and supporting people at a higher level. And when people come to me who I feel like, man, I haven't done what they've done in the world, being okay that they seek me out and they need my support and my advice, and that what I bring to the table is valuable, and I deserve to be compensated for that value. That's the other piece of that as well.
Mm. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed. Like literally everything you just said. I'm sitting here like, I'm all about manifesting. We are manifestors. I keep telling people your tongue is a magic wand. Use it. Use it and profess what you want into the world with it. And so I am obsessed. And so how can well before we close this out, quick question. The three eyes. What are the three eyes again? That was literally I meant to get to that earlier, but this conversation has been phenomenal. But what made me think about it is you said you have to have strategies in place. Are the three eyes part of your sense of strategies or systems that you have in place? And what are they? Because I didn't mention them in the intro. So let us know what they are real quick.
Income, impact, and influence. So, what I realized was that if we want to really create impact, and that's where I ultimately want to do, I had to be influential first.
Mm,
People actually had to listen to what I say and make decisions and change their habits or change their mindset. So that was one of the first things that I realized, was that I had influence over other people. Like I could say something and they would do something. I could say buy something. Like it was cell phone mounts. When it was the craziest thing. I would say, "Oh, I love this cell phone mount," and people would actually go buy it. Something as arbitrary as a cell phone mount. But when we were live streaming, we were handheld. We didn't want to be handheld. I'd be like, "Look at my mount. I don't have it with me." They would be like, "What's the link?" And people would buy it. And the
dang.
company paid me. They used to make. They had contracts with like T-Mobile and Sprint, but they were paying me because I kept telling people about these mounts. So the first part was influence. People make buying decisions. They make life decisions based on the words that come out of your mouth. So I had to be cognizant of what came out of my mouth. Still working on that one, work in progress. The next piece is income had to come next. So people think, oh, if I'm influential, I can just be impactful. No, the level of impact we really want to create requires us to be committed to making money. So that we got to be committed to it. And I know people get upset, they get mad.
Thank you for
We
weird
have
reasons.
to be committed to making money. So then the next part, the offset of that is going to be impact.
Yeah.
Our impact, the level, the magnitude of our impact is determined by how much influence we have. It's determined by how much income we have. Because if we have higher level influence and higher level income, we will have the greatest amount of impact on the world. So the impact part is last. People want to make, I want to make an impact first, but you ain't got no money, no influence. That's not how none of this works.
Ooh.
You will diminish the amount of impact you're going to have. But because why do we get mad at people? We get mad at people who maybe reality stars or people who we're like, why do they got a platform? Why do they got this? Instead of saying why they got it, why don't you have it? What are
Hello.
you not doing?
Yes.
Not get in front of your people. So instead of me getting mad at them, I have the pod, I call them the podcast bros that give these crazy relationship advice. We're mad at them. They were consistent at building a platform around whatever ideas they have, and people began to pay attention. And many of them learn how to monetize it. So that means that their impact in the marketplace is going to be bigger because they have the fuel, the income to grow it. So I call it sometimes I call it a vehicle. Because sometimes I use the analogy of purpose, passion, and profits as well. I'll say it's a car. Your passion is the car you want to drive, whatever color it is, you like it, the Tesla, whatever your dream car is. Purpose is the steering wheel. It will determine the direction upon which that car is going to go. You got to have a purpose because passion is not going to fuel. And then and it don't matter what kind of car it is. There has to be a fuel source. Even with a Tesla, they got some kind of fuel called electricity. You got to have fuel because if you don't have fuel in your car is not going anywhere. I don't care if that car is a hoopty or that car is worth $100,000. If you don't have fuel, you're not going anywhere. So you need the mix of all of them in order to make the most amount of impact and live a life of significance. If you're just one of the differences between part of my dissertation was looking at Black people and Black entrepreneurship, and specifically Black women. One of the differences with us in business is that it's not compared to our white counterparts. A lot of them is more individualistic. I have an ambition, I have an idea, I have a goal. But when we go into business, it's more of a we. We have a goal.
Right.
We have a mission.
Right.
We are determined. It's not just us. It's not just I'm doing this business for me. I'm
Yeah.
doing this business because I understand that I can retire my mother early. I'm
Mm.
doing this business because I'm trying to teach my niece that if she wants to, who's here with us for the summer, if she wants to become a tattoo artist, I'm like, just like Beyonce daddy said, if Beyonce wanted to be a doctor, I was like, how can we buy the hospital? I'm like, okay, you want to be a tattoo artist. How can you be an apprentice to a Black female tattoo artist that I know?
Ooh.
So that's the contribution that I want to create for my family. Oh, you want to go into business. How can we have I told one of my cousins last night, set up a meeting with me and let's have a conversation about it.
My.
See how you can really do this. Like, you guys know I do stuff. Family, listen, that they don't care about none of the stuff you do. You just regular.
They don't.
You
You
regular,
just
regular. Every once in a while, I'll put on a business hat here and there. And I'm happy that they let me just be me.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be no Dr. Sade at the family cookout. I'm just trying
Right.
regular Sade playing Uno and cards last night. That's what I'm trying to do. But when it comes to those conversations, part of what I want to do is have conversations that'll benefit all of us. And if they have aspirations and goals, I want them to know that it is available and possible. And who can I connect them with so that they can get to those goals faster?
Yes. Ooh, I love this. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm still over here trying to pick my hair up off the floor. So where can I know that we can find you at Hey Dr. Sade on all social media platforms?
Yes.
Because Dr. Sade knows how to get her real estate. And so I love that we can find you there. How can people, would they need to go to at Hey Dr. Sade, or is there a website you can shout out right now that they can go and get this help, since you are on a mission to become a millionaire and create other millionaires? How can we be one of your millionaires you create?
Listen, I'm here for it. So we can stay connected at Work with Shade or Sade.com, workwithshade.com. And we have a complimentary case study to share with some of the things that we do. And that's a way to stay connected. You'll be added to our list and you'll be able to stay connected. Hey, Dr. Shade or workwithshade.com. And we are so excited. Let me know you found me here and let's definitely stay connected.
Yes. So this has been Brownstone Worldwide Media, KCCR Radio. You are listening to WAP, Wealth, Assets, and Prosperity for Your Life and Business. Dr. Sade literally dropped all the good and god dog gems in this here interview. Queen, I adore you. You want to work with Dr. Sade? Hunty, workwithshade.com. Go on and sign up. She out here trying to make all of us millionaires, and I'm trying to be one of them. Okay? Let yourself be one of them too. Queen, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have literally just changed the game in my mind and mindset. You don't even know what you did to me today. So I appreciate you. So thank you guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so